Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today, let's take a look at the 2026 BMW M850i Coupe. Huge shout out to Hendrick BMW in Northlake for providing this vehicle for me today. Take a look at their website, that link is down in the description. This M850 is finished off in a skyscraper gray metallic. MSRP is just over $112,000. Now this is powered by the 4.4 liter twin turbo V8. It's paired to the 8-speed automatic, and it pumps out 523 horsepower, 553 pound-feet of torque. That power is sent through the xDrive all-wheel drive system, propelling this 4,700 pound coupe from 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds. And with the M driver's package, top speed is increased to 190 miles an hour. This also has a fuel capacity of 18 gallons, and you'll expect to see 17 miles per gallon in the city, 24 out on the highway. This has a wheelbase of 111.1 inches. Its overall length is 191.2. It has a width of 74.9, a height of 53, and its ground clearance measures in at 4.6 inches. Now, as we take a look at the exterior styling, this model has a really nice look paired with the matte black accents that you see for the kidney grille. There's also a forward-facing camera and plenty of cutouts to provide additional cooling. Now, there's also a sensor in the lower section for distance pacing, all of the parking sensors as well, and then a lot more cutouts, even some active grille shutters to help improve with better cooling when needed. Now this also has LEDs for all of the lighting, and then it does have a long hood, but really nice lines that come down it just to give it a great look. Now this also has a two-tone design for the wheels along with the black M Sport brakes. There's also a gloss black trim accent just behind that with some nice lines that run off of that. The gloss black power folding side mirrors have the camera and a turn signal, and more of that gloss black works its way around the window trim. Now this model does not have a sunroof, and then you'll notice as we take a step back, really nice angles and lines that further run down the side here, leading to the back where there's a very small trunk-mounted spoiler. This has LEDs for all of the lighting, there's the backup camera, all of the parking sensors, and then some light gray trim accents for the lower diffuser, and then the dual exhaust on both sides. And you can start it up just by using the key fob, so you can triple tap on the lock button. You can also use the key fob or the control underneath to gain access to the cargo space. Now you have a pretty good amount of space for this coupe. You'll notice there's a storage bin on one side, battery access on the other. There's no storage underneath the floor, but you can fold down the back seats. They have a 50-50 split to them if you need to put in some larger items. And then you have the buttons up top to either close the trunk or to lock the vehicle. Now, as we work our way to the interior, this has a really nice dark brown interior, along with the leather, the black leather, of course. There's Harman Kardon for the audio, memory seating adjustments, window controls, trunk release, and storage down below. And then you'll notice M850i is an illumination on the door sill, and then there's the two-tone design for these seats. They are automatic with the one manual leg support that you can use as needed, and there's also this leather strap here you can use to push the backrest. From there, the seat is going to work its way forwards, allowing you some space to hop into the back. Now, you are not buying this as a full four-seater. As you can tell, that seat is all the way back. There's no vents or anything. It is pretty tight. So I'm touching the Alcantara headliner, which is an option. You could use this for smaller kids. It's really mainly for additional items to make this coupe a little bit more practical, especially if you are daily driving it. I might be able to ride in the back for a quick trip, but they are there if and when you need to use them. So now we're greeted with the solid leather steering wheel. No flat bottom design for this model. It is heated. There's all the cruise control settings. Brushed aluminum accents are even on the paddle shifters, and then you have some more controls on the right. But let's start this back up with the crystal engine start stop button. Take a listen to that V8. And coming back to the gauge cluster now, you'll see on the left side there's fuel and miles per hour. On the right there's the tach, and you have some information you can go through using the button on the top of the turn signal stalk. So you can go through all of this just depending on what you like to see. Nice to have a few vitals here that you can have front and center. And then you'll notice the nav is always going to be right in the middle in the background there. Now you can also use this button on the right side, and that will go through the head-up display with shortcuts to your media. So that way you can go through those as needed. Now to the left, there's all the headlight adjustments, one air vent, Leather covers the dash. And then with the infotainment system for the home screen, you have a few widgets here that you can go through, and then all of the fixed info on this left side. So you can easily get through all of this. Now, if you go under a car, you can go through a lot more information, and you can also use the crystal dial down below, along with the rest of those shortcuts to get through various information. So it's really nice, makes it a lot more user-friendly to be able to use the controls down below, and you have quite a lot that you can get into and adjust. This model also has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and you do have some other apps that you can install as needed. Now underneath that, there's a shortcut to the intelligent safety, which you can go in and configure some of these tech features, which is nice. You'll notice there's air vents on both sides of that, and then another LCD screen right in the middle. This is for your climates, so you can see your fan speed, temperature dials, where you'd like the air to go. And then you have some defrosters, a few other AC adjustments, and the controls for the heated and ventilated seats. So just by pushing on the one button, you can control which way you would like it to go. Now underneath that, there's volume, presets, and tuning. There's also wireless charging with auxiliaries and cup holders, and then carbon fiber for that lid there. You have all of those shortcuts for the screen, and then even some more crystal on the shifter. Simply push unlock on the left, push that forwards, and that is how you can get the vehicle into reverse, where there's automatic parking and backup assistance. Now with the 360 view, you also have a lot of angles, and there's even gesture control, so you can use that as needed. So you definitely have a lot of angles, including a full forward-facing angle, which is nice. Now you have drive, and you can also put into sport mode, so you can shift here or with the paddles, and then park is located on the back side. Now there's also traction control, parking sensors, engine start stop, and then you do get a few different driving modes. So you can go through these as needed, just depending on how you want the vehicle to react. There's auto hold and the e-brake, an auxiliary with a little bit of storage in the armrest. There's also a locking glove box, and then garage door buttons up top and dome lights. And then you can get another look at the full Alcantara headliner and the visibility. So with the cargo windows in the back here, it definitely helps in aiding over both shoulders. As we set up behind the wheel now for the M850i, I did forget to mention that this also has rear wheel steering as well. So in parking lot situations, this has a really good turnaround. But with this model, as you were able to hear with the exhaust note changes, sport mode definitely livens up the exhaust note. So with everything in sport mode, let's give it a minor acceleration. Definitely has a good sound from that V8. And with this luxury style coupe, I want to talk about the M8 real quick, because I reviewed that a few weeks ago, and unfortunately for 2026, the M8, that is the last year for that model. I haven't seen that for this M850i, so maybe this will stick around for another year or so, or have a longer running. So I'm not quite sure what the difference is. This definitely offers a lot of power for the price too. The M8 that I drove was almost $160,000, so it's significantly more expensive than this, when you can almost get the same amount of power. It's not quite as much, of course, but it's interesting that the M850i is still something that is going to live on for another year or maybe longer. But it's a really nice vehicle. This is something that is a little bit more geared towards the luxury side than the performance side. As you heard the specs earlier, it definitely has plenty of performance to it, but it's not quite going to be as nimble as, say, an M car like an M4 or an M2, something like that. This is a little bit more forgiving. It's a little bit larger of a vehicle as well. So if you want something that is a little bit more comfortable, seats are surprisingly small though for it being a little bit bigger of a vehicle for your rear seat passengers. I can fit a little bit better in the M4, which is interesting to see, but a little bit more of a grand touring style vehicle. It's a good option to go with, and for a coupe, this could be your only vehicle. So it makes it a lot more practical in the back to put in any items that you may have. And the downshifts in sport mode give you those little pops there, which just adds to the sporty fun factor of this. Paddle shifters are also very responsive too. It's a good M-Lite version basically of the M8, but it still gives you a lot of performance characteristics, which is nice. But it's a super comfortable vehicle to drive. Obviously for the price and being a BMW, it is going to be well refined. We have a lot of nice materials. It handles well too for its weight and just would make for a great daily driver. Now, it's also interesting to see for the 26-year model, we don't have the large curved screen. So I'm not sure what BMW has thought about for this if it does continue on another year, but they seem to pick and choose. A lot of the 8 Series models still have the separated screen, which a lot of people do like. So if you're not a fan of the curved screen in the M4 or the M440i, something like that, you can jump up to this and get this older technology. And we're still in Sport Plus second gear. Here we go. And just a mild acceleration, and you can hear the exhaust too. Definitely a fun vehicle to drive. So this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for the M850i. And we have a really nice place to be. This also has an electronic steering wheel for the height and the adjustments that you can make for it. So that is a nice luxury feature to have. Visibility also seems to be pretty good with the amount of glass that you do get with this model. And again, this would make for a great daily driver. Super comfortable, well-refined feeling, lots of great materials. And if you want something just a little bit more laid back, you still want that performance, you get the luxury features like the rear wheel steering too. It's just some features like that that aren't available on some of the other models. This is a really cool coupe to go with. And we do have the other driving modes as well. So if you want to shut that exhaust off, put it into comfort mode, the throttle response is going to ease up a little bit, and you can just be a little bit more comfortable with a quieter vehicle. But it is nice that you have the options to do that. Even Eco Pro, maybe you're out on the highway, you just want to save a little bit on your MPG. You have the option to do that. And then as we test its maneuverability, hopefully we can do this in one straight turn rather than doing a 3-point turn. So here we go. It's a long vehicle, so the rear wheel steering is definitely a benefit. And that is going to wrap it up for the 2026 BMW M850i. We'll see if this continues on for the next model year. Maybe there'll be some changes. It hasn't really changed too much in the last few years, so maybe it's due for an upgrade. We will have to wait and see. But huge shout out again to Hendrick BMW Northlake for providing this for me today. Take a look at their website, give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads. I'll see you all in the next video.